Hello, I'm John Mazon, Georgia Gwinnett College alumnus, class of 2015, and currently serve as the Veteran Success Coordinator here for Georgia Gwinnett College. I'm pleased to be involved in the Gwinnett Bicentennial Story Vault project. I have the honor today of talking with a fellow GGC alumnus, Mr. Homero Gonzalez. Homero is a 2011 business graduate of Georgia Gwinnett College, Go Business School. As a student, he served as president of the Organization of Latin American Students and was an active member in the student organizations. So honored to be talking with Homero about that because I know when I was a student here, our veteran club did a lot of work with the Latin community on campus, and they were one-on-one and many events. So that's great that our little legacies are continuing on. He also served the Student Government Association as Senator and Vice President. He received Georgia Gwinnett College's 2010 Excellent in Leadership Award and is a charter member of the college's Alumni Association Board. Mr. Homero, welcome.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you again.
Great to see you.
Absolutely. It's good to see a friendly face, and very honored to be interviewing you today.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I kind of know the story a little bit, but I'm still curious about the time period. But when did you move to Gwinnett County, and what brought you here?
Well, I was born in Mexico, so but before I came to the United States, my father came to the U.S. and he originally lived in Texas. He worked there, and then at some point he pursued other jobs further into the U.S., and so he finally came here to Georgia, and so he started working here. And then finally, when the rest of our family came to the U.S., this was where we came. We started living in Gwinnett County, and we've been here ever since.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I'm so glad that you ended up here because you definitely made a big impact on the area and our fellow alumnus graduating.
Thank you.
I can relate a lot to you. I've listened to you speak a lot, and I know as a first-generation college student yourself, what prompted you to enroll here at Georgia Gwinnett College?
Well, I hate to admit, but GGC wasn't the first my first choice to go to college, and I wish that I would have known back then what I know now about GGC, because it would have been an obvious choice, and it obviously was my number one choice after I joined. At the beginning, I thought that I would transfer out, but I ended up staying, like most students who come to GGC. But what brought me here was that as I was going through high school, English is my second language, so a lot of my focus during high school was learning English, and so I wasn't as involved in regular English classes. In high school they talk to you about college, about things that you need to do in order to go and go to a great school. But since I was so involved in other types of courses, ESL and things like that, I never really got the opportunity to hear those conversations. And so I ended up not really being informed about the things that I needed to do. So by the time I wanted to apply to these schools that I thought I wanted to go to, the deadlines had passed already. But lucky for me, GGC had gone to our school, and they had talked about the new college that they were building, and at that time, believe it or not, I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh,
and
okay.
so I laugh about it now, but I wanted to be a doctor, and so they had a biology program here, so I thought, let's give it a shot. Let's go for the first year, do my core classes there, and then I'll go on to something new. Both things changed. First of all, I took my first chemistry class, and that was it for my biology career. But then I also fell in love with the school, and so that's how I ended up at GGC.
That's awesome. I think you might have said this to me before, but somehow GGC has a way of getting its claws, no pun intended, into
Right.
us. I can imagine that's kind of what it still feels like for new students coming here too. Can you relate a little bit about that? Just something about GGC keeping you here, basically. Right?
Yes, and at the time when I came, GGC was not accredited, and I know that was the situation with all of my fellow classmates. We were all here because there was that that essence in GGC that you just trusted. And so it's just so funny because everybody that I've talked to, that came here at that time, their idea was, okay, I will stay close to home. I will, go and get my core classes done. But there were a few that left, but most of them stayed. And I think that we all can agree that there's just that dedication from professors and from the staff, that really make you feel like you belong. And so I think that just contributes to students staying here. And I know that it definitely did for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally can concur with that, being an alumnus of myself. So maybe one day, though, I'll still call you a doctor, just be a different one, a PhD.
One day,
right?
yes. I still want to
awesome.
continue on with my education. So hopefully one day you can call me a doctor.
Good. 'Cause I know you inspire a lot of people, so I know they look for you at that. Who are some individuals who were instrumental during your time here at Georgia Gwinnett College?
Well, the GGC is just, it's a big community when it comes to people who mentor you, people who guide you, people who help you get on the right path. And so for me, there were many people, but I have to mention Dr. Jessica Damian. She was the first professor that I met here personally. We were coming from orientation, we were coming out of the Cisco auditorium, and then she met us, halfway, and then, my parents were with me. I was the first student, their first kid that was going to become a college student. They unfortunately hadn't had the opportunity to, go on and get a college education. So everything was very new to us. And so Dr. Damian came, she greeted us in Spanish.
Wow.
And she took us to her office. She answered all of the questions that we had. And so after that, she just became my mentor, and she really brought out the best in me. And she taught me about leadership. She taught me about things that I should do in college, opportunities that I should pursue in order to be successful. And I remember the first time that we met, she was like, "Homero, I think that you need to join the Organization of Latin American Students." At that time, they didn't have a president. It was just established. Rico Torres had been, along with Dr. Damian, they had established the organization, but there was no president yet. And so she was like, "You should join us." And I was like, "You know what? College is new to me. I have so many responsibilities at home. I have my brothers that my parents, and and then there's so much responsibility that I have with college. And I don't think that I would be able to join an organization." And just so you get an idea of how Dr. Damian really has a way to involve you in things that are beneficial for you. 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, I was the president of the organization.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely she was an instrumental. She played an instrumental role with my education here at GGC and with my professional development as I exited the college and went on to my professional career.
That's excellent. It sounds like she, among other faculty and staff members here, they won't let you quit.
They won't.
If you meet them at least halfway, they're going to make sure you cross that finish line.
Right, and that's why I mentioned that there's so many professors that I can attribute my success to. I think that along the way, you meet people who start shaping you into the person that you are, but there's always those select people that end up going the extra mile. And Dr. Damian is a friend. We still keep in touch, and so
That's excellent.
it's always so when I think GGC, Dr. Damian was a major part of that.
That's excellent. I happened to be a sophomore in the year 2013, Homero, and I remember a certain student doing a commencement address, not a student commencement address, but the commencement address. And I know you were chosen as the commencement speaker, the first, by the way, GGC alumnus to have that honor. Describe the emotions you felt as you addressed the fellow graduates that day on behalf of your alma mater college. What was going through your mind, and what were your emotions like standing behind that podium that day?
Yes, to this day, I really don't fully understand, how it was. I ended up with that opportunity, but really, it was a great honor. There had been people that had made, impacts in the community that, they had been in their careers for so much longer than I had. I had just graduated college, and for me, that was already an honor. But, besides that, and being able to address my fellow Grizzlies, which now is coming to them to talk to them about my experience and how they should listen to what I had to say and use it to go and do great things, as they're graduating. Like, for me, the biggest part, as if that wasn't a big honor already, was, being able to give this satisfaction to my parents, as I have shared with you before, and as many other people know, my parents are immigrants. They came to this country wanting better opportunities for their kids, and they sacrificed so much. I mean, obviously they sacrificed being able to be with their parents, watching them grow old, giving up their lives. And so for me, just being able to stop at that moment on the podium, being able to thank them, and just that moment itself allowed me to show them that all of those sacrifices were well worth it, and it really filled me with joy and satisfaction, and it will always be one of my favorite GGC moments.
I bet. Well, I'm glad to share that with you, because it was one of my favorite moments of my college experience, watching you do that commencement speech.
Thank you.
I tell everyone all the time I know a star who I went to college with, and I know you're very humbled when you talk about it. But one of the highlights from your commencement speech was when you proudly, I believe it was, you held up 2 Emmy Awards. That's what it was. You recently won 4 more at the Southeast Emmy Awards. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I know I try not to count, but how many do you have by now, by the way?
Before I tell you, I have to say I have been very blessed. Since the time that I started at GGC, I have been very blessed to meet people who have guided me and pointed me in the right direction. And so, I've been very lucky to work alongside people who believe in me and trust in my work, and have allowed me to have the platform to showcase it and be able to garner these awards. And so, right now, very humbly, we're at 16, but it really is a blessing, and I don't take it for granted. Yeah. I appreciate every one of them, and it's just, for me, it's just an honor to be able to be able to, again, going back to my parents, being able to show them that beyond college, I'm still, taking full advantage of the opportunities that they have been able to provide for us, and so it's always an honor to get them.
That's excellent. Well, I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I really believe 2013 was a changing era in Georgia Gwinnett College, at least from the students' perspective, because when you gave that speech, it kind of made us feel, at least as students, that we've made it on the map, basically. And I know that's just from a student's perspective, but we really felt that way when you were given that. So thanks again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
In addition to serving as a commencement speaker, how have you stayed engaged with the college since graduating in 2011, right?
Right, 2011. Well, as you know, I have the honor of serving on the GGC Alumni Board. I think that we're getting close to the point where I have to roll out of being part of it, because I've been there as since the beginning. I was one of the charter members, and so now we've been doing a lot of things, and along with the board, like trying to get additional funding, just making sure that our alumni are not forgotten, and that we continue bringing them back to the college, and for them to see the impact that as alumni we can have on this institution. And so for me, it's been an honor to always come back to these activities, but also, for me, whenever GGC asks anything of me, I'm just there. If at any point I'm able to share my experience, to be able to let other people know how great of an institution GGC is, I'm there. So it's just been, being involved and being available for GGC whenever they need it.
That's awesome. The term giving back, I think, suits you very well. So
Thank you.
Thank you for always doing that. You're still a Gwinnett County resident. I think you live in Duluth,
Yes.
Right? What attributed to you and your wife's decision to raise your daughter here in Gwinnett County?
Well, I told her I grew up in Gwinnett County and I turned out excellent. No, just kidding. But we, like I told you, when I came to the U.S., the first place that I came to was Gwinnett County,
Okay.
and being away from what I knew as my home in Mexico, this became my second home, and now after so many years of living in Gwinnett County, it just feels like home. And for me, it's just been one of those situations where I have been able to experience the diversity, the inclusion, and the acceptance of the community. And for our daughter, I think that's what I want. For my daughter and for my kids, I want them to be in an environment where they know diversity, where they are able to learn how to accept others, and where they can feel accepted as well. So Gwinnett County has been my home, and I just want that to be the case for my kids as well.
And there's an excellent college in the county
Yes,
also, right?
of course.
So great.
As they're being born, we're having new Grizzlies, and so
That's right.
we're looking forward to that.
That's right. Excellent. You previously worked at Telemundo here in Atlanta in Gwinnett County. What was that experience like to work for Telemundo?
It was a great experience. I have nothing but great things to say about it. I started at the station at a point where it was just about to start to grow, and so for me, it was a very unique opportunity where I was able to help with all of that. From it being a station that was just getting started to now, being one of the biggest stations here, like Hispanic stations here in Atlanta. That process really was kind of my postgraduate degree in what was marketing or television, and so for me, it was a great experience, and I'm forever thankful to the management there, because they really allowed me to grow and develop as a professional, and that allowed me to be prepared for the business now that I own. And so really it shaped me. And so what I think really attracted me to Telemundo is because I was already coming from Georgia Gwinnett College. Georgia Gwinnett College, we had started it from the ground up. And there were a lot of things that I learned along the way that then, when I went over to a station that was about to get started to boom, it was basically like the perfect match. I was coming from that background already. So for me, Telemundo was a great opportunity, and if I had to do it all over again, I totally would.
That's excellent. Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity.
Yes.
It's very exciting. Following your tenure at Telemundo, you became a co-founder of a business. What do you think is your role in helping to ensure Gwinnett County continues to be progressive and friendly to business and industry?
Like you said, we started our own marketing business, and so for me, like I've mentioned before, one of the things that I love about Gwinnett County is the inclusion, the diversity, and I think that it's our responsibility as a business that to maintain our companies as diverse as possible, to give talent the opportunity to showcase their work and to come and bring about a better face of the county. And so for me, I think that it's our responsibility to make sure that people feel welcomed and that people know that they can bring their talents and help grow the county along the way. And so it's just it's a responsibility that I share with other businesses here, and I just hope that we're able to attract more businesses into the county, because it really is, if you want to grow in a business in a diverse environment, Gwinnett County is it.
I bet. I've
Yes.
read a lot about that.
Yes,
So
yes.
it seems to fit in quite well.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Your participation today is in honor of Gwinnett's bicentennial. What do you hope transpires in Gwinnett County over the next, say, 100 years?
I think that, I keep coming back to it, but the inclusion, the diversity, I think that what I want people to remember about Gwinnett is that we built it together. That people from different places of the world, with different cultures and different beliefs, were able to come together and build something great. So I hope that people look back 100 years from now and they're able to see that it doesn't matter where you come from, you're able to come together as one.
That's awesome. I just want to look back 100 years and say, I went to school with someone who won 16 Emmy Awards. That's very, very insightful.
Well,
once
thank
again,
you very much.
You show
Thank
a lot
you
of
very
humbleness there. Do you have any final thoughts of today, and would you like to say anything else?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, first of all. And just let's go grow Gwinnett.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity.